Hey, what's up, y'all? Video number 18. Be back again. Having fun, man. Having fun with these. I'm grateful for everyone's reactions and encouragement and stuff like that. This helps me a lot, and especially a well-reasoned critique is actually the most valuable comment. And key word is well-reasoned. Use logic. Present counter arguments. If you're going to make some statement in critique, you need to present support. You can't just throw out an opinion about some shit and expect people to be like, wow. No, you have to use logic, reason, grammar, logic, and rhetoric, dude. These are three key things. Everyone ridicules it now because everyone's forgotten it. And people who actually know what grammar is and how language is supposed to work and how to use it effectively and precisely, that's frowned upon. Put some emojis. Put like a happy heart and like a, we're back to pre-Egyptian hieroglyphs right now. That's where everyone is. They're reverted 3,000 years of human development. You know what I mean? But anyways, it sucks, but okay. Today's topic is the science of sound and vibration and how all human communication is based on vibration and sound. And this is referred to in all the ancient texts. Okay, let's take the Bible, for example. God creates our world through speech. It's basic, Genesis chapter 1, Debar, they call it Debar, the power of speech. That's where abracadabra means I create as I speak. See how that works? I mean, if you look into that word abracadabra and look at Genesis 1:1, there's shit there that you can find. I'm just telling you, I create as I speak. Anyway, okay, now I'm big into the Buddhist Tantra, and I'm all into the, Indo-Tibetan studies, man. Because Indo represents Sanskrit. And really, Sanskrit is an amazing language. It's probably the most perfect language I know about. It's amazing. But see, Sanskrit, there's all kinds of precursors to Sanskrit. People try to say, oh, Sanskrit's the oldest language in the world. I'm like, well, it's a dialect, because like Brahmi script is probably older. Pretty sure Brahmi script is older. Tamil script is super old too. Tamil script is that's some deep shit. But my point is, there's all these, Indo-Aryan languages, man. And these languages are super, super old, I think Akkadian is a really old language too. I'm not sure which one is older. It's hard to tell when you go back that far. But there's not as much. I mean, there's some Akkadian inscriptions, but anyway, the point is to say, this vibration is encoded with letters. The power of speech, right? And so, in the Vedic thing, they got Om, right? Om is a combination of all the vowel tones, if you ask me. With the we don't consider that a vowel, but I guess it's kind of like, well, it's okay. So like vowels have multiple sounds, right? There's long vowels and short vowels in all these languages, dude. In all of them, there's long vowels and short vowels. That's one thing that people have forgotten all about. But anyways, so M is a vowel, or is a vowel because it incorporates both a closed mouth and sound. So it's like silence and sound in the same way. In a way, it's like the dividing line. Now see, in Sanskrit, that's anuswara. It's called anuswara. I'm not going to go into what that means right now, but they have all these little diacritical marks. See, this is what I'm saying. Sound, the science of sound and speech is so precise and so subtle, so far beyond the language that we have now. It's so dumbed down. And that's bad. It's not good. You know what I mean? Because we've lost the knowledge of vibrational communications because of that. And now our vibrations all come through a microwave, hello, microwave phone, microwave emitting transceiver, slave tracking device. You know what I mean? This is the truth of it. And you don't need it. That's what I'm saying. The science of vibration makes all the shit totally irrelevant, useless, and just damaging for no reason. Okay, now, what do I mean by that? Okay. If you control the power of vibration, you control the power of creation. Abracadabra. I create as I speak. Okay, now that sounds stupid to most people, but think about it. Okay, thoughts are things. This is an old phrase. Thoughts are things. It's an aphorism. And like the more you repeat a thought, or the more you repeat, and so our thoughts internally are structured according to language. That's how we start to think. We start to think in terms of words and language, the way that we would communicate to another person, right? But in truth, there's pre-verbal cognition, and there's, what do they call it? Non-conceptual cognition. That's a Buddhist phrase, and that's super fucking deep if you can wrap your head around what non-conceptual cognition is. It's kind of pretty close to precognition, if you ask me. I mean, it's at least one step in front of verbal cognition where we are. You know what I mean? But anyway, so it's like there's a pure intuition that just directly perceives reality much closer than our normal thinking, right? It's pure intuition. Okay, but intuition has to translate itself into sensory codes or metaphors to like imprint us. And that's why dreams. In dreams, you have all this crazy shit. Things are shifting. You're in a place you've never been, but it kind of looks like someplace, you know? And like, it's not an accurate replica, right? And you could tell. That's how you lucid dream, is you tell and you're like, wait, this isn't reality because A, B, and C. Oh, I could fly, you know, stuff like that. You're like, oh, I could transform things by my will alone. Anyways, so if you get into lucid dreaming, that's where you're getting closer to abracadabra. I create as I speak, you know? So what I'm saying is, okay, so say you tell yourself, I'm a rich, successful person. I attract money easily. All these affirmations and stuff that they have, man. Back in the 80s, the super popular was like subliminal programming and how to imprint your consciousness with new codes and stuff like that. And so I think it takes a certain type of person to have the persistence and faith to make that stuff work, but it works. So my point is, okay, I create as I speak, and thoughts are things, and our ability to verbally communicate, our vocabulary, and our grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Okay, those are the three things that make intellectual interchange productive. If you don't have those three things, there's no point. There's really no point, because you can't communicate with each other. You're not using a common system of communication. So it's like you're speaking different languages, right? Anyway. So you have Om, right? In the old, Vedic and pre-Vedic systems, Om is a combination of speech and silence. And if you look at the symbol itself, it's got 4 parts, and that represents the 4 states of consciousness. And also, not only does it represent the vibration and tone that you hear, but it also represents silence, which is the emptiness out of which all vibration emerges. Now, if you look at matter itself, we looked at matter is a vibration. It's a condensed vibration. And basically, that's one of the states of matter. And consciousness, it's like a silence. But that's the quantum flux field. That's the background field that all vibrations ride upon. So like in the Vedic cosmology, this is kind of like the endless ocean, Ananta, the endless serpent, right? The endless ocean. And Lord Vishnu arises on the endless ocean, surfing on a giant serpent that's called Ananta, endless. So, but the ocean is like this still point medium, like an undisturbed pool of water is perfectly flat. And it's like a telescope. Like, have you ever really, when it's a full moon out and it's super nice, you get a nice little reflecting liquid surface, you can see all the craters, you can see, and you go take a photograph of it, you'll be fucking amazed how precise it is. And so this is a thing in all the Buddhism and Zen and stuff. It's about how to get your mind into that perfectly reflective, clear, undisturbed state. Okay? So there's different words that kind of refer to this, right? There's the alaya, right? The alaya vijnana, which is like it's the substrate of all consciousness. It's the flat plane of perfect reflection on which all brainwaves surf and vibrate, but it's perfectly still. So by being perfectly still, it's timeless, endless, right? Undifferentiated. So those are the 3 qualities that you can attain if you practice what's called shamatha, which means tranquil abiding. And it's like a reduction in It's basically Chittam Vritti Nirodha, which I said all those videos ago. It's taking your mind and stopping all the thought loops. You got to bring them to the still point, because every loop and every rotation comes from a still axis. Now, if you look at the Om, you have the round parts, right? And then you have the dot. So the dot, see how that works? It's so deep. Like, people have no concept. Okay, so then you take another look at it and you're like, okay, the part that looks like a little 3, that's like the hemispheres of the brain. And then you got this little tongue that sticks out, right? Sound, right? Your tongue is flapping in the sound. And then what? Then you got a crescent. That's the ear, right? That's the receiver that receives the ear. And then you got a dot. That's the particle that, see? Are you starting to understand how this works now? This is from thousands of years ago. It's not a joke. It's not something to be overlooked and replaced with emojis. You know what I mean? This is something ancient and deep, and it conveys the essence of reality and how reality works through vibration and resonance. And if you basically really could comprehend that, abracadabra, bitch. You create as you speak. So if your speech and your thoughts and your vocabulary and your mental vocabulary is dumbed down and tarted, and it's a bunch of hearts and like little eggplants and stuff, you know, it's like whatever these fucking things are. No, I get it. Trust me. I understand pictograms. I fucking studied ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and Akkadian script and all that. I know what that shit is. I'm not trying to, ancient Chinese, same. I know what pictographic language is. I understand it. But I'm saying there's master system and slave system. So like the master system is the one that decodes reality and explains how reality works and how you use it to create as you speak. And the slave system is the one that tells you how to count money and be a fucking slave and buy and sell everything, and how everything's in a complete state of materialism. Okay, so this is really the crux of what I'm trying to get at right here. Materialism versus idealism. Or matter versus energy. That's another way to look at it. Okay? The way of matter is the way of enslavement. And it's delusional, because there's no matter without energy. Matter will instantly decay and disrupt and return to total entropy without energy. Energy creates and condenses into matter. Okay? So that's what I'm saying about the Om. Like, we're all in one state. Right, but all these states all have a common origin: silence and non-vibration, quantum coherence. People, I don't understand how people don't understand all this stuff. But anyway, look at the ocean right here. Okay, if you look at the ocean, you'll see the surface is rippling, and it's reflecting light from the sky, from the sun, or whatever else is shining on it. Its ability to reflect is proportional to the broadness of the still point, the stillness, the uniform flux field. Okay, that denotes reflectivity. So for us, reflectivity is like an ability to receive from the infinite divine and manifest it into our individuality. Abracadabra. Okay, so now, if you learn this science and you understand how this shit works, you can do as you will. But the core tenet of all these philosophies is the unity of all being. You know, unity among diversity. E pluribus unum. Many are one. So whenever you're using the vibrational science of creation, you have to comprehend the karmic effects that ripple out on the wave, on the surface of reality. Because if you create something that harms you and others, and usually those are intertwined. So if you create something that is deleterious to others at your benefit, that's not going to work good. It's like a wave. You know how a wave goes out and comes back, rebounds? Everything is a wave. So this is what all the ancient systems are teaching. And it's not hard to understand. And it's been taught forever. Just learn it. That's all you got to do is look for it.